Welcome to Oddball. I'm Izzy Gutierrez. That is Amin and Elhassan. Today's episode is brought to you by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Amin, happy to see your smiling face, even when it says hell yeah. Faces, kind of been a very popular topic amongst the NBA, particularly the face of the league. It started during All-Star Weekend. Anthony Edwards was asked if he wanted to be the face of the league or would accept that responsibility. And he said, now, I guess somewhat infamously, not really. And then when asked why not, so that's what they got Wemby for, which I think that is, question still to be answered in terms of what Wemby is going to be. LeBron then, made headlines for his statements. He said this.
And said he don't want it. Obviously I didn't ask for it, but I knew there was a responsibility for me, not only to my family, my friends, my community, and whoever that was going to follow my journey throughout my career. I've always taken that seriously and understood from the beginning what being a professional was all about and being a role model was all about. So try to hold that with the utmost respect and honor.
And of course, the reason why LeBron's getting that question is because I'd say since about 2010, right after Kobe's second championship, LeBron firmly fixed as face of the league, in large part because that face went on ESPN and announced his free agency decision. And that look for a while was the face of the league when people were wondering whether he made the right choice or not. But he was the face of the league, maybe still is the face of the league. To me, it's a bit of a contrived conversation because it's not something that you win. It's not something that you even apply for. It's something that you're just granted and it just kind of happens. But I'm curious at the moment where you stand now that LeBron has chimed in on this face of the league conversation.
Yeah, there's two ways to talk about this. One way is to say, this isn't a real thing. You don't apply to be it. They don't award it. It's not formally given. What are we even talking about? It's fictitious, right? And yet we know that someone is a face of the league at any given point. And we know that typically when the league doesn't have a face, we feel like we're in flux. We feel unsure of ourselves. Michael Jordan retiring in 1993 put us into a flux. Who's the face of the league? And nobody really
Imagine you not having a face. You'd be lost.
You'd be, I'd still look because my eyes aren't part of my face. They're actually behind my face. But the point being, but the point is, it is a role that is played. It's not available to everybody. I remember, I might be aging myself here, but when I was growing up, the tale of King Arthur was some that was in TV and books and movies all the time. And specifically, Excalibur, the sword in the stone, right? The idea that only someone worthy could pull the sword out of that stone. Now, people lined up and tried, but most failed until Arthur came along. He pulled it out, and Merlin was like, that's the guy right there, right? Being face of the league is kind of like that, except when someone like Anthony Edwards says, I don't want to be face of the league, it's almost like, and LeBron, who has pulled the sword out of the stone, saying, I don't know why anyone would want to do this. It's kind of like all of a sudden no one wants to pull the sword out of the stone. And that's the big difference here, right? The difference is, you can't opt in. If you're not worthy, you can't pull it out. But you can opt out by saying, I don't want no parts of this. In the same way that Tim Duncan, maybe 25 years ago, said, I don't want no parts of this. I don't want to be the face of the league. I just want to be a good guy, good player, champion, great player, all those things. But I don't want to have the burden of being the face of the league. But Izzy, I know what you're thinking. Who cares? Why do we need a face of the league?
Well, the face of the league. I was thinking, wow.
I know. I'm clairvoyant, right? There's two purposes for face of the league. Number one is marketing, right? This is what we sell the rest of the world. This is how we sell our sport. This is what we make people aspire to be a part of our sport when they aren't already, right? That's one. The other one is internal, right? Because that sets the standard of what's expected, what we want from the people who represent our league, right? It basically says, hey, man, you want to be the best player in the league? You want to be like me? These are the things that go along with it. It can be a privilege. It can be rewarding, but it is not an award and it's not a reward. It is, in fact, a responsibility. It's a responsibility that LeBron carried very well. It's a responsibility that Michael Jordan carried very well. Magic Johnson carried very well. And it's happened since time immemorial, all the way dating back to George Mikan. We've had a face of the league. Again, the league doesn't bestow it. It kind of finds itself to who it comes on to. But at the end of the day, you have to accept it if you are worthy, because otherwise we're lost.
And you know how we know that is because you never have this conversation when we have a firmly fixed, absolute consensus face of the league. It's not like we walk by each other in media circles and be like, hey, who's the face of the league today? Yep. LeBron James. I knew you knew it. And we just keep going. Like now is the conversation because we don't know who's next. Like right now, is it LeBron? Is it Steph? Probably comfortably. It's one of those two maybe. But who's going to be next? That's why we have these conversations. And this is kind of what we talked about in terms of just, hey, somebody's got to want it, right? One of the reasons why I look at so everybody, before I get into Wemby, Anthony Edwards not being the face of the league, right? Again, these things just kind of happen organically. First of all, if you say you don't want to be, like, you're checking out. You're like walking out of the rooms, almost like Nikola Jokic, right? He doesn't actually say it, but his actions tell you, no, thank you. I'd rather, be hanging around with the horses here. But if he doesn't want it, he's out of the room. But the thing about Anthony Edwards is he's telling you, I might be the opposite of that. I might be the person who comes in as a heel. I might be the person who comes in and says, hey, people love me, but I'm going to make it perfectly obvious why I'm not the face of the league. Fans are going to love me. I'm going to check a handful of those boxes, but I'm not going to check all those other boxes like lovable by everyone. No, not really. Not going to make mistakes. And if he does make mistakes, he's going to own up to them immediately. And no, I think Anthony Edwards is probably going to make a handful of mistakes, and whether he owns up to them, we don't know yet. Maybe he won't. And so it feels like almost you have to have him as part of the mix as well. And that's even why he's in the conversation. Not at the moment, not people actually want him to be face of the league, but at the end of it, when it's all said and done, be like, oh, now he could be the other half of that.
Well, he's got the talent for sure, right? And he's got the charisma, and that's part of it. You can't be uncharismatic. Sorry, Jason Tatum. I know you want to be face of the league, but there's a part of this where you have to be compelling the people. Michael Jordan, like I said, Magic Johnson, LeBron James, they all compel. It doesn't mean everybody loves you, but it means you have to be compelling. Anthony Edwards certainly has that, but he's got also, like you said, the smudges, right? You think about some of those other guys, they're kind of Teflon, right? Anthony Edwards has some smudges to him, but the smudges almost add to the personality. He is not
for sure. You know how I can tell he's like never going to just be that perfect guy, no matter what setting he's in, whether it's in with his peers, whether it's with his coaches, whether it be with the former leader of the free world, Barack Obama. His personality does not change. He keeps it real regardless of where he is. Kind of reminds me of Charles Barkley during his playing days, who was clearly top of the league superstar, but certainly not a role model and certainly not face of the league.
Right. That was exactly what I was leading to. So he's Charles Barkley. And again, in light of him leading the league in technical fouls this year, he actually served a suspension because he had his more than 15th technical foul the other night, this is straight out of the book of Charles Barkley. You even said the magical words, I am not a role model. He not only said it seriously, they made a whole commercial campaign out of Charles Barkley saying, I'm not a role model. But Izzy, I got to remind everybody one thing. And you say, well, if you're not the face of the league, you get to do whatever you want, right? Well, no, there still are responsibilities there that you have to do. Charles Barkley, I tell this example every single time. Charles Barkley will go into a bar, and if there's a line of 20 people waiting to take a picture with him, he will take a picture with every last one of them, and not just say, hey, take the picture, all right, cool, next. He'll give them a little story to make them feel like they walk away saying, man, I got the full Charles Barkley experience. Even if that person didn't like Charles Barkley before that, they walk away. I guarantee you they liked him afterward, unless he throws them through a glass window. So there's not hey man, if I'm not the face of the league, I don't have to do these things. Similar to the fact that it's not like if I'm not the face of the league, they won't criticize me. And I know LeBron was like, why would you want to do it? So they could talk bad about you. Guess what, buddy? They're going to do that anyway because you're good enough to be talked about.
To me, it proves that you just have to, if you're going to be the face of the league, again, something that's granted to you, you have to just be or move along with the times. Is it going to be a little bit more difficult for you? Yeah, of course, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for you because the light shines on you at all time. There's TMZ everywhere. There's social media everywhere. So you almost have to start with a clean slate. You almost have to start with somebody whose name we've already mentioned in Victor Wembanyama, where you look at him and you're just like, okay, background wise, Don't think there's anything there. I think we're good. Has a good story, has the want to, but most importantly, has that clean slate where we're just like, all right, nothing to worry about here. Let's see what we got moving forward.
I'm going to push back on you there because Kobe Bryant came in with the clean slate, then probably dirtied his slate as dirty as it could get without like murder being implicated.
At just the right time, though, right? At just the right time, because we knew enough about it, but not too much.
Hold on, Izzy, he was flying a court in the middle of the season and coming back by like at tip time. That was a huge thing. We're not going to undersell the depths of where Kobe Bryant's reputation went.
I'm just more talking about social media and the level at which you can dig deeper, even if that was today.
Sure, except for the fact that he was in deep media, which is still bigger than social media. Yes, like you could be down bad in social media. To be down bad in media, that's a different story. And that's where he was. And yet he was able to rehabilitate his image. Again, we don't judge by the exceptions because I think he's an exception. But I do have to say that in terms of, it's not too late for Anthony Edwards if he, matures into wanting that role. He can still do it as long as he's still good, right? That's the only one caveat. The one line we'll draw in the sand is you can't suck, right? That's the one you can't. And that's why I said you can't opt in. It has to be bestowed upon you, but you also have to be able to want it. And that's where Victor Wembanyama is, right? Like you said, he checks all the boxes, but to me, beyond the talent, beyond the accessibility, beyond all that stuff, he understands it. He figures it out. And the only guy I can think of modern times who mirrors that is, not to put too much expectation on the kid, but it's LeBron James, who this honor was, or this burden, this responsibility was placed upon him years before he was even an NBA player, because
he's carried it for so long. I mean, that it's almost like other people have taken advantage of that, right? He's almost taken for granted, whoever it is, whether it be Steph Curry. And any other time, if we're talking about Steph Curry as like a top 10 player, best point guard ever, we'd be saying, damn it, he should be the front facing person on this league, but he's had LeBron to lean on. He's had LeBron to lean on for some of his shortcomings with whether it comes with, I don't know, the power, the strength, the athleticism, the stuff that we sort of assign NBA grades. He doesn't have it. He's a shooter. He's Mr. Nice Guy and everything else. He's not the a-hole, at least not out forward facing as we think. And so, I think LeBron has had that opportunity, if you will, that honor for so long that it's just like, maybe I don't want that. But I think so we talked about it just happens when it happens. Is it possible that Anthony Edwards could be like the anti-face of the league? Instead of being the heel, this is the new way we're going to accept the face of the league. Hey, you're genuine. You're not getting into any real trouble, but you're giving us everything the way we want to see it. Hey, you're the guy that I want to see every single day. You're the guy that I want to see in the ads. Just bleep out all the curse words.
Yeah, I mean, that's, and then you're describing Allen Iverson. But even Allen Iverson, I think, was a lot more polarizing. There were people who hated Allen Iverson just for who he was. And all he was his authentic self. I think Anthony Edwards, I don't know if he can necessarily, maybe I'm in a bubble. I don't think people hate Anthony Edwards. I think he's so likable that even when he messes up, people are like, I can't stay mad at you. And that's why I make the Charles Barkley comparison. But we got to move on here. We got to play another thrilling edition of Hot Streak. Hot Streak is presented by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Last week we split, right? We did the Luka's first game against the Mavericks. What's happening? Why can't we get this? I'm sorry. I meant to say hell yeah. Hell yeah. If as soon as you tell me what the joke is, maybe I'll say it more often.
Can't tell you that. You never explained the joke, Izzy. Last week, we split our picks on Luka's first game against the Mavericks, which means someone got it right, and we're counting it. So we're 1-0, baby. Let's get a streak going. Here are some games we could choose from. Rockets at Thunder.
Hell yeah. Oh, wait. That's not the right time.
Yep. The Thunder are 9.5-point favorites. Thunder are 2-1 against the Rockets this season. They played the Spurs on Sunday. Van Vliet re-injured his ankle in Saturday's loss to the Kings. Rockets have been tumbling late. They were 2, and now they're all the way down to what? 4? Maybe even lower than that. 5.
Look, I'm just going to say it. Ankles are a problem in the NBA. Somebody needs to address that. They keep getting turned. We need to fix that.
Warriors are 9-point favorites at Charlotte. Steph goes home, playing for the home crowd. His whole, everyone who went to Davidson, I guess, gets a free ticket to the game. And of course, his dad, Dell, works for the Hornets on the broadcast. So he gets to do that. Or we've got Blazers, Sixers. Sixers are 3-point favorites. In their last game, the Blazers almost beat the Cavs in Cleveland. They had to go into overtime for that. Meanwhile, the Sixers came off of a resounding win over the Warriors where they withstood like this crazy comeback. So, Izzy, where are we going? Are we going Rockets plus 9.5, Thunder minus 9.5, or Warriors minus 9, Hornets plus 9, or Blazers plus 3, Sixers minus 3?
We have a very excited Wizards fan, a Monarch production group, who wants us to point out that the Wizards have a better net rating over the last month than the Houston Rockets. But I will not pick against the Houston Rockets. So I'm going to go. I think they'll keep that one close. Plus 9.5 is a big number. I kind of want to go with the Blazers here because I think the Sixers are such an S show that the Blazers are not only going to keep it that close, but are probably going to win it outright. So I'm going to take the Blazers.
An S show, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, The Hornets got swept this season by the Wizards. I don't know what more to tell you, man. I'll go with you because I like your Sixers logic. I like your Sixers logic. I don't give a damn if pick a person. If Jesus is playing on that team, ladies and gentlemen, it's awful. But I like your Sixers logic, so we'll go with Blazers plus 3. But
all right,
I want to let it be known, worst team in the NBA was on the board.
And we went against it.
Welcome back to Oddball. And Izzy, do you smell that?
No, I'm in an entirely different part of the country than you are.
Oh, that's odd because I thought the smell of award season had swept the entire nation. Welcome to the first annual Oddball Content Academy Awards, also known as the Oddballskers. Which
are you sure about that name?
Not really, because it makes you think of like hair in certain regions of the body. But basically, the NBA is a sport, but it's a 24/7 ensemble drama. So what we're going to do is we're going to recognize the incredibly talented, gifted people dedicated to bringing us entertainment long after the whistle. In other words, these awards are not for exploits on the floor, but for creating content for us. Izzy?
And so we're going to do this with accents that we're not sure are British or like old American, but that's where it means
transatlantic.
Transatlantic.
Old Hollywood.
All right. The first award is for Best Director.
Ooh,
Best Director. That's who orchestrated the best storylines from behind the camera. All right, Amin?
Okay.
The nominees are Nico Harrison, Adam Silver, Pat Riley, Leon Rose, and of course the puppeteer himself, LeBron James.
I've always said that Leon Rose looks like a real-life Homer Simpson.
Okay, that's who that one is. And the award goes to... Oh man, my envelope is stuck right now, but let's see. I mean, what do you...
Oh, it's Nico!
It is Nico. It's
Bravo.
Nico Harrison. I'm sorry, my envelope was broken. Nico Harrison, I don't think there's another award another nominee that could really compare. He really knocked it out of the park with this one, I mean.
This is Oppenheimer, right? You guys had movies that you worked hard on. Okay, what if I just make an actual bomb and detonate it? Now what? Like, hey man, I don't know if anyone can argue with this one. I know Adam Silver is over there tearing up his invite and throwing it on the ground. But was there anyone else who even came close?
I mean, there's every NBA season you think LeBron is directing something, and even Anthony Davis will kind of imply that maybe LeBron knew a little something about this trade. So he's working in the shadows. So if you give him like the same award, but in a shadow, I think you give it to LeBron.
Oppenheimer, baby. All right, next up, Best Original Screenplay. Now, this one, some stars can write their own headlines, but who is the best athlete in media? The nominees: Draymond Green of the Golden State Warriors, Josh Hart of the New York Knicks and the Roommates podcast, Paul George of the Podcast P podcast, and sometimes the Philadelphia 76ers, Jared McCain from TikTok and the Sixers, and finally Kevin Love for his Instagram comments. And the winner is, I don't have an envelope. Actually, I do. Right here.
This one says final notice. Are you sure
Kevin
that's
Love.
The right envelope? No,
Kevin
it's
Love.
Kevin Love. Hey, K-Love, for his performance on Instagram, mostly during the Jimmy Butler saga with the Miami Heat. But he also chimed in on Angel Reese for whatever reason, saying when she was saying she wants to be this and this and this and so many things. And he says, I'm going to bet the under, and then got for that one. Kevin Love, you, sir, because of your cojones, let's call them on social this year, runaway winner.
And you know what? Sometimes the people who write the screenplay aren't the ones who actually win the screenplay award. They just work underneath the people who win the award. But it's a group. It's a team victory. So, Team Kevin Love, you guys did a great job, whoever you are.
Nobody needs to know that.
Next one up, Best Actor. Who gave fans the most to talk about? The nominees, Izzy: LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid, and Jimmy Butler. And the award goes to... It's LeBron James. I mean,
wait,
how can you argue?
Hold on. I mean, I'm going to let you finish here, but this is absolutely insane. Tatum deserves almost a Lifetime Achievement Award for this Best Actor. Listen, just say I'm accepting it for him, because this is why people don't like him, okay? First of all, he has the opportunity to show he's a real one all the time. And what does he do? He takes on a fake personality. He started off great, right? He was this young new age player about to take over the league one day and do it in a style that we probably haven't seen from a Boston Celtic before. And then what does he do? He just can't continue that, right? He turned into this real stiff player, like pretty much just push-offs all the time and the sidestep jumper. And then look, what happens when he gets his chance to actually perform in the finals? I think 3 for 17 in his first game in the finals. Come on. And then when he's actually winning, what does he do? He doesn't use his own words. He used other people's words. Hold on. I'm not even done. This might be my best part right here. Okay. Give me a second. It's not like haven't done this before. All right. Look, he is in there celebrating and doing things that other people have already done. He's not even playing Jason Tatum. Okay. This is not like back in the day when he dunked on LeBron and it was all like, oh, and now what's he doing? He's getting into arguments with Brandon Jennings and leaning into that. What's the point of that? That makes no sense. And then he's talking about, oh, I'm gonna get back Steve Kerr for not playing in the Olympics. And how long did that last?
How long is this monologue?
He has not done anything to be a loved and embraced player. He's just been doing it to other. Oh my gosh! And how about the time in Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals when he showed off a fake text that he sent to Kobe Bryant, said, I got you on this one. Come on, man. Like, why are you
We got other awards, Izzy.
Whatever, awards. Man. Look, Jason Tatum, you should win that for life. Best actor of all time.
We have any oxygen left? Yes, give us.
Okay, best supporting actor. Is it Jaylen Brown? No, best supporting actor. Not right in the middle of the drama, but threw us a good wrinkle or two. Who is it? Nominees are Max Christie, Amen Thompson of the Houston Rockets, pause for applause, Bronny James of the Los Angeles Lakers, Quentin Grimes of, I believe,
the Sixers
now, right?
Yeah.
And Jared McCain, also of the Sixers. And the winner is, also written on the same one here. Wow, Bronny James, of course. Wow, final notice. Bronny James, he is LeBron's sidekick here. We all know he's not supposed to be in the drama, but everybody gives him some. That's unnecessary. I feel bad for him. He should definitely take home 2 trophies.
Look, they haven't won any, but a lot of Sixer nominations. They've given us a lot of great content this year. I just want to point that one out. All right, last award we've got here. Best editing. Who did the best job controlling their public image, Izzy? The nominees are Kyrie Irving, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Anthony Edwards, Nikola Jokic, or LeBron James. And the award
before you announce the winner,
yes,
that photo looks like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was dipped in peanut butter before a game. That would have damaged his image. So therefore, I have him as the leader in this category so far.
Well, I'm sorry. The actual winner is Kyrie Irving. Remember when he was radioactive and nobody wanted to touch him with a 6-foot pole? Now
everybody loves him. What do? You shave your beard, show that tan line a little bit, maybe play catch with some fans that are sitting close by. Oh,
He's been awesome.
You don't have to worry about anything that you do before that. You are a perfect human being.
He's awesome. He's done it all. He's edited it all. And that is going to do it for the first annual Oddball Content Academy Awards. I'd like to thank the Academy, all the voters, all the viewers, and my co-host, Izzy Gutierrez. Good job out there.
Thank you. I also would like to thank the Academy. I believe that includes us, right? We are the Academy. Thank you, Amin. Thank you, Israel. Thank you to that one DC fan who's in our production group. Thank you all.
His name is Hank.
That's it for Oddball.
Michael Jones, the GOAT.